Right here on Atlanta News First Plus, we're following the story of a Southwest Atlanta church congregation that actually gathered to worship just a day after their building was gutted by fire. Look at this video of the flames at New Jerusalem Baptist Church. That was the scene early yesterday morning. Well, today the nearby Dixie Hills First Baptist Church opened its doors to their neighbors. They let the congregation have service inside of their building. And the New Jerusalem Baptist Church senior pastor says his members are keeping their spirits up even after the fire.
Well, the church has been here for 76 years, and New Jerusalem Baptist Church is not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, this is the third time this church has experienced fire. In the location where we were before, over the years that we were there were 2 fires. We rebuilt and moved forward from that, and we will rebuild and move forward from this one.
Now, the fire started on the backside of the building before crawling across the roof. Thankfully, no one was inside at the time, and so no injuries were reported. Of course, we're going to continue to follow the developments on that story and all of our top stories. We'll also have the latest on Peachtree TV at 10 p.m. and the news at 11 on WANF. Take a look at this. The search for the CEO murder case, the suspected killer in the CEO murder case, has now led NYPD officers to Atlanta. So they believe that the killer traveled to New York on a Greyhound bus that started its route here in Atlanta. They don't know where or when he boarded the bus, but this comes as police release new images of the suspect. New York City detectives are in Atlanta because they do think the suspect took that bus back to Georgia. Now, investigators believe that he took the bus from Atlanta to New York in late November and then may have taken a bus back to Atlanta just after the shooting. Sources tell CBS News that New York police divers searched a lake in Central Park yesterday for the gun used in the shooting. They also found a backpack believed to have been the shooter's with a jacket inside of it, which is now being analyzed for DNA. Let's listen.
The manner in which they were able to follow his footsteps to recover evidence, some of it is known, some of it is unknown, but the net is tightening, and we're going to bring this person to justice.
And Atlanta police, one of more than 80 different police departments all across the nation, assisting with the NYPD and the FBI with this massive manhunt now underway. All right, let's talk about the holiday shopping season, which of course is underway. And Atlanta police want to make sure that your purchases are protected. Well, officers tell Atlanta News First reporter Brittany Ford that they're already seeing a rise in theft opportunities.
Christmas shopping season is in full swing.
I'm coming to get a few things for my mother. One of them is I guess a home appliance, so to speak.
If you're shopping for pricey items at Lenox Mall or electronics at stores like Best Buy.
Trying to figure out which one because they're a little pricey.
It's unfortunately also a time where thieves are looking to capitalize.
I kind of dashed in my car just to make sure that everything was going to be fine. You know, because if somebody sees a MacBook, you know, they may be tempted to come after it.
Atlanta police are warning people to stay vigilant.
We do see that uptick this month, running from store to store and leaving things in plain view. We see electronics stolen this time of year, purses taken from cars.
And it's not just for gifts. Authorities say thieves are also targeting cars left running due to the cold weather.
Just this last week, I had 4 vehicles stolen in Southwest Atlanta because the car was warmed up.
Police say being aware and reporting suspicious activity.
If you see something, say something.
Are steps that can save you from the Grinches out there this holiday season.
It kind of dampens the spirit a little bit, but I try to let it, you know, I try to be safe.
I got eyes in the front and back of my head. I'm always cautious.
Brittany Ford, Atlanta News First.
And this holiday season, the city of Atlanta is encouraging its neighbors to make sure that people have a home. Now, Atlanta News First reporter Patrick Quinn shares what's being done and Atlanta's big goal before Christmas.
Take a walk with Mayor Andre Dickens through Atlanta's newest housing complex.
I have this exact same towel in my shower in my house.
23 units fully furnished, yes, with a shower and a bed, a stove, in the heart of Atlanta for those who need it most, like Richard, who's formerly homeless.
Everyone deserves
to have a place to live.
The city will open 3 more complexes just like this by Christmas for those chronically homeless.
And when you see these ribbon cuttings of 23 and 35 and 65, they add up.
But in a growing metro with continued economic strain on the working class, Mayor Dickens called on regional leaders to follow the city's lead.
We actually end up housing people that are not always from the city. So we want to make sure that regionally across North Georgia that you all do as we are doing.
Up the road in Decatur, DeKalb County leaders apparently were listening.
The need is so great. Housing affordability is at a crisis level.
I sat down with DeKalb CEO Michael Thurman, who just announced the county is investing $13 million in 7 community nonprofits aimed at reducing homelessness and preventing evictions.
13 million is a big number, but really, if you compare it to the challenge we face, it's relatively small, but we're just happy, actually blessed, to be able to stand in the gap, not just on this very cold day, but on cold days that will be coming throughout this winter.
In DeKalb and central Atlanta,
This is clutch right here. You have a washer dryer in your unit.
a winter push to help those unhoused find shelter and support.
To let them know, number one, that we care, and number two, that they are not alone in trying to overcome these challenges.
Patrick Quinn, Atlanta News First.
All right, so let's talk about this forecast. And, you know, the cold definitely was making it feel like the holiday season.
Yes.
But the rain, I mean, now we got a warm up and we got rain.
I'm glad it didn't rain really today, though, very much. You know, the weekend was nice. It was cold. It was nice.
Yeah.
And now a nice, soaking wet, gray Monday for everybody.
How lovely.
I know, right? But hey, it could have been worse. First alert radar, as Joy just pulled up there. We are tracking rain moving back into North Georgia. And before too long, it's going to be raining in the city of Atlanta. Again, want to remind you, thank you for tuning in and for joining. We are streaming to you live here at Atlanta News First Plus. This is the 8 o'clock edition, and I am First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here with a check of that first alert forecast, and also a reminder that if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, you can simply do one of two things. You can watch on YouTube, so if you're streaming in the First Alert Weather app, Atlanta News First app, but you want to converse, you need some clarification on the forecast, hop out of the app and you can open up the YouTube app or youtube.com and just watch the Atlanta News First stream. However, you know, of course, we encourage you to watch atlantanewsfirst.com stream in either app as well. So perhaps if you're doing that, you can also just shoot us a text, 470-777-WANF. Again, show us what you're seeing outside if it's already raining in your neck of the woods, or just text us your other questions, 470-777-WANF. That's 9263. Again, back to radar. Rain is quickly moving back into North Georgia. Earlier, we did have some rain already on the west side, but noticing more and more of that moving in over the past, 45 minutes to an hour, really starting to creep in. You know, the air is very dry. That's why it looks like as we zoom down in, it kind of, wrong tool. Okay, it looks like, the past 30 minutes, it looks like rain is hitting a wall, right? It gets up to about Cartersville, down at Carrollton and Franklin, and then it kind of falls apart east of that line. This is definitely encountering some dry air. Some of this rain is evaporating on its way down. It's journeying down from the clouds. However, through this process, the atmosphere is moistening up. It may feel just a little bit more muggy outside this evening. It's still cool outside. It's not like a summer muggy, but you just feel more moisture. The air is not quite as dry. Those chapped lips get a little bit better. And through that process, we're going to start to see some of this rain reach the ground. In fact, that's why you're now seeing steady rain, light rain, but steady rain in Cleveland and Randolph counties in Alabama, moving into Troup County, also Heard County, into Carroll County, up into the Haralson County area, Floyd County, Chattooga County. In fact, even some heavier rain showers about to cross 75. We can go ahead and put a tracker on this for you. No downpours, but brief heavy rain, a possibility, or at least heavier rain over the next, 15, 20 minutes. That's as long as it's going to last, but it will continue to make progress eastward, back towards Fannin County, down into Cherokee County, kind of that 75 and points east sort of corridor. Into Sugar Valley by 821, Pine Log 847, and on its current heading 907. Maybe a quick little burst of moderate to heavy rain there in the Blaine community. Again, I want to remind you, streaming many platforms. If you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, give us a holler. We're streaming on YouTube also. our 8F Plus digital producer, Ellie, sending out a push alert to the Atlanta News First app and another place to draw people in. So if you're streaming from the app, you got that little buzz, that notification that we were live. Welcome in. Thanks for joining. And if you do have any other questions, comments, concerns, as we were talking about, YouTube is one place, one option. And also text us 470-777-9263. The big story tonight is rain is moving in. And we are talking about, quite a bit of rain in the forecast as we get into the overnight hours and then the wee hours of tomorrow morning. And with that in mind, let's go ahead and shift gears here. We're going to pull up a forecast model. So what a computer thinks the forecast, the weather will be doing over the next, several hours. And in general, the forecast models have been doing a pretty decent job with how the day has unfolded. Moving in the clouds first, early evening slight rain chance, and then now we're starting to see, that late evening chance of rain really start to increase across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. So we're going to pull it back to the current time, walk you forward through time, and you'll kind of get an idea, a timeline of how these rounds of rain could impact your specific plans. Again, forecast model, maybe just a smidge behind. We talked about this on Atlanta News First Plus at 4:30, running just a little bit behind schedule, but big picture-wise, it's kind of hitting the nail on the head, has everything about right. And this model brings rain, steady rain, into the immediate metro 10 to 11 o'clock this evening. So if you're watching Atlanta News First at 10 on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW, already some rain falling by that point. If you live northwest and west of the city, it will have already been raining for a few hours by that point. Going into the wee hours of tomorrow morning, especially along and north of I-20, widespread steady rain, light to moderate. Could be some brief bursts of heavy rain. Temperatures by that point, 2 a.m. in the mid to upper 40s. Here we are at 6 o'clock in the morning as folks are hitting the roadways, trying to get to work, getting their students off to school. Maybe if you have Monday off, I do. Monday's my Saturday. Maybe running some early morning errands, trying to get out the door earlier, just grabbing a cup of coffee, anything like that. You're going to be waking up to rain, dealing with wet roads, with more scattered showers really through the duration of the morning commute. So rain may be most widespread before, let's say, 4 a.m., but between 4 a.m. and 9 a.m., there will still be some scattered showers moving through. I'm pretty sure about everyone watching this evening in Metro Atlanta will encounter wet roadways at one point or another, most likely the entire duration of their morning routine and their morning trip tomorrow. All right, we have some comments coming in. Caleb saying Christmas is 1 week away, and I have Special Olympics on Tuesday and Stars and Strikes. So busy week for Caleb, and thankfully Tuesday's rain in the afternoon and in the evening. So Caleb, if you have plans Tuesday afternoon and evening, rain could impact your plans. We're a couple weeks away, not quite a week, a little more than a week, maybe 2 or just more than that weeks away from Christmas. So hopefully we're going to be much drier, much clearer by then. Jason B., how much rain in the city after all is said and done? We can get to that here in just a moment. We're looking at an average, and I have the graphic ready pulled up here, have an average of, I would say, around an inch. But we'll go county by county here in just a moment. Again, 8 o'clock Monday morning, we have scattered showers moving through. Here's that bit of a break Monday afternoon. So 2 periods of kind of that constant rain that makes it harder to get the plans in and to get to your destination on time. One will arrive tonight into Monday morning. Then a bit of a break Monday afternoon. Now, it's not going to be sunny. It's not going to be a beautiful Monday afternoon, and there will probably still be some drizzle and some spotty rain, but still drier Monday afternoon versus Monday morning. Opposite trend for Tuesday as to what occurred Monday. Here we are going into early Tuesday morning. There are a handful of showers around 7 o'clock commute time Tuesday morning. It's not completely dry, but rain is relatively spotty and will not last that long at any one place. Again, that's 7 o'clock Tuesday morning. Lots of clouds, probably some fog too. It's mild. Temperatures are in the 50s and lower 60s. Morning temperatures in the 50s and lower 60s. Just a couple days ago, Friday morning, we were in the teens and 20s. So a huge warm-up. Watch what happens as we go into the afternoon Tuesday. Rain does become more widespread getting into Tuesday afternoon. And this will persist into Tuesday evening, 4, 5, 6 p.m., so it does look like Tuesday evening's commute, so the drive home from the office, picking up the kids, taking them back home or to their practices, it'll be wetter Tuesday afternoon for those sorts of activities versus Tuesday morning. And the risk of heavy rain will also peak Tuesday evening into Tuesday night. Again, here we are 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, and you can see some oranges, some reds on the map. There is the potential for some rain to become heavy across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta, especially Tuesday. To Jason's question, this is a rainfall forecast for the next 7 days. However, it will not rain beyond late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. So this will include the entire duration of this rain event, and we're looking at 2 to 4 inches of rain at average. Again, some seeing a little less, some seeing a little bit more, Jason. South and east of the immediate metro, northwest side, 1 to 2 inches of rain. So this is all about trends at this point. We may not be able to, chisel into stone exactly how much your rain gauge is going to accumulate or to record and collect, but we can give you trends. And the trend is the heaviest of the rain looks to set up south and east of the immediate metro. Another hot spot, wet spot we'll call it, with greater rainfall totals will be up in northeast Georgia. Mountains obviously having an influence there. And in general, northwest Georgia will, over this 48-hour period, tomorrow and Tuesday, see just a little bit less rain, but I would say still a widespread, maybe 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches or so. We have put for the city of Atlanta, 1 to 2 between the two rain events. Solid bet, could be a little under 1, could be a little bit closer to 2, but kind of in that window. And again, at times, this rain may be heavy, and we may see some of these totals kind of accumulate very quickly, in a relatively short amount of time. That's why there is that risk of some flooding as we get into Tuesday afternoon and evening. Very low risk, but it's possible. Caleb asking, is that 2 to 4 inches south of I-20? In general, yes. But of course, it's a roadway, trying to separate who sees what, that's definitely a point, a boundary that we often refer to because everyone kind of knows where I-20 is. But of course, Mother Nature doesn't work with specific rules. So very well, there could be some spots that see a little bit more than 2 inches of rain north of I-20, but Caleb, exactly. Generally south of I-20, and then especially south and east of I-85. So Griffin, Spalding County, over to Eatonton, Putnam County, up to Sinclair and Oconee in that area, and then Athens, Elberton, over towards Augusta. That's where some of the heavier rain will be. In addition to some of our northeast Georgia and far western North Carolina higher elevation communities and places, higher elevation, going to squeeze out more moisture. You're going to get some higher rainfall totals up in the mountains of north and northeast Georgia. And then, beyond Tuesday's rain event, a big temperature plunge is on the way. Again, your first alert 7-day forecast. 80% chance of rain tomorrow, mainly morning, first alert weather day. 80% chance of rain Tuesday, mainly afternoon and evening, first alert weather day. Majority of that time will be spent in the 60s between Monday afternoon and Tuesday afternoon. In fact, that 59 might be a little generous. We might briefly fall there Monday evening and then warm up overnight, believe it or not, and to where you're out the door Tuesday morning, gloom, but a little drier with temperatures in the lower 60s, so you don't need the winter coats at all. And then as we get into Wednesday, first alert weather day, but we're drying out. Notice just a 20% chance of rain, and I think that's mainly before sunrise. Wednesday's first alert weather day is just because of a big shock to the system, big temperature change. We go from near 70 Tuesday to we'll call it mid-40s as an average. Some staying in the lower 40s all day long, and it will be breezy to windy Wednesday. So it'll feel like it's in the 20s and like it's in the 30s. Kind of a shock to the system. I know we've just come out of a cold air mass, but we're heading back to warmer weather. You're going to put that jacket away. Well, you don't want you to put it too deep in the closet because you will wake up after a warm Tuesday afternoon, kind of a muggy Tuesday afternoon. You will wake up to sharply colder conditions. Caleb and Jason, anyone else still streaming on Atlanta News First Plus on Wednesday, made to feel even colder by that gusty breeze. And then with the sky clear, cold air mass settling in, fresh batch of cold air, so to speak, we do have more freezes in the forecast with that clear sky, calmer wind, dry air, fresh cold air mass, widespread freeze Thursday and Friday mornings away from the immediate core of the city, Hartsfield, Jackson, up into downtown, midtown, outside of that concrete core. Widespread 20s. You're probably going to end up seeing hard freezes for many folks Thursday and Friday mornings. Starting to warm back up as we get into the weekend. I do use that word a little loosely, though. It's not going to be a warm weekend. Saturday, your high temperature is 52. Sunday, 53. Maybe a little wedge of cooler air trying to move in Sunday. Overall, mostly dry. I'm going to be looking at some new data coming in this evening. May be able to take out that Sunday rain chance altogether. But for now, even with it in the forecast, just a 20% chance of rain, something we will keep an eye on. But in general, a much drier period next weekend versus how we begin this 7-day forecast with widespread rain, widespread wet weather on the way Monday into Tuesday, and then a break, but colder as we get into Wednesday. I want to remind you, we did not have an early, probably noticed by this point, time now is 8:20. We did not have an early evening newscast on Atlanta News First, WANF. We're streaming here at Atlanta News First Plus at 8. Joylem Nakrin and I will be back on the TV, Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW, on I should say, as my brain catches up to what I'm actually saying, at 10 p.m. Full forecast, probably going to be top of the newscast with weather and, of course, today's latest news headlines. And we will be walking you through new data, new forecast. But in general, not too much of a change expected. Joshua Evans joining the chat, Atlanta News First Plus. We are streaming on YouTube at Atlanta News First. Joshua Evans, is there going to be any severe weather? No, the risk of severe weather is pretty much non-existent. In fact, I wouldn't even say that there's going to be that much in the way of thunder and lightning, just not looking like it's going to be that sort of setup across North Georgia and metro Atlanta. So bear with me, computer's lagging here just a little bit. What I will say, though, is that there is a risk of some heavy rain and possibly some flooding as well. Again, bear with me. I need to pull up the right graphic. A slight risk of some road flooding, street flooding, and maybe rises on area creeks. This would be Tuesday afternoon and evening. So the risk of heavy rain is a little greater Tuesday. This isn't really severe weather per se, but something we will be watching. Slight risk in yellow. That is where the risk of some road and street flooding. Southeast Metro on into East Georgia, down into Middle Georgia. We have been saying that they would see the heaviest rain, and certainly that is going to be a possibility as we get into the day Tuesday. Tomorrow, though, not much of a risk of flooding, but there will be damp conditions. Roadways will be wet out the door in the morning. And again, Joshua asking specifically about the risk of severe weather, not forecasting any severe thunderstorms across North Georgia, nor Metro Atlanta, but there could be a couple of, claps of thunder. Now, if you're going down to South Georgia, if you're going to Middle Georgia, there could be Tuesday afternoon and evening into Tuesday night. There could be a couple of strong storms. That risk, though, very low, even down there, but especially here in North Georgia, Metro Atlanta, not a huge concern for us. Really watching the potential for at least some briefly heavy rain going forward in time, mainly Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening. So again, if you do have any other weather questions, comments, concerns, do want to remind you that we are here to keep you updated, still streaming Atlanta News First Plus. Caleb saying, we are going to have severe weather. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to have widespread severe weather or anything like that. Talking with Caleb and with Jason. You're very welcome, Jason. Thanks for streaming. Joshua and Caleb asking about the risk of severe weather. And yes, we could have some claps of thunder, but the risk of truly severe weather, winds 58 miles per hour or stronger, hail quarter size or larger, and spin up tornadoes, that risk, not really quite there for us here in North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. However, as you go back into Middle Georgia, there is going to be that chance of a couple storms becoming strong to severe, possibly producing some gusty winds and some small hail. So again, here's tomorrow's severe weather outlook. We're not outlooked at all for any severe weather. That's why the map is gray and why it is not showing anything, because we're not at risk at all for any severe weather as we get into the day Tuesday. Technically, we're seeing some of this edge up into Troup County, Thomaston, Upson County, Butts County, Lamar County, and the Griffin-Spalding County. A closer look at this, some of our southern communities technically within that polygon, the immediate metro not included. For North Georgia, Northeast Georgia, I said a moment ago, not included at any risk of severe weather, but a level 1 out of 5, a marginal risk for a couple strong to severe thunderstorms as we get into Tuesday. Though I will say Tuesday afternoon and evening, it really does look like the greater risk, still relatively low, but greater than zero, is going to be south of the Atlanta News First viewing area, down into Middle Georgia, and even more so down into Southwest Georgia, down into Albany. If you have plans south of Columbus, those sorts of communities on Tuesday. But something we're going to be watching here, Caleb and Jason and Joshua asking about that risk of severe weather. Unlikely and not quite impossible, though, at that, with this most recent update, Troup County, LaGrange over to Thomaston. Risk is low, but it's really Tuesday afternoon and evening. Probably going to hear some rumbles. Could even hear a rumble or two tonight, technically, but no risk of severe weather tonight into tomorrow. Tuesday, warmer air. The atmosphere is a little more juiced, so to speak, so you do see in that severe weather outlook a marginal 1 out of 5 risk for a little sliver of our area that the vast majority of us will not see any severe weather in that First Alert 7-day forecast. Still a good time to have the First Alert weather app. Actually set my phone down at the table a few feet away. I was going to pull up the app for you, but again, it's an easy download. Just search Atlanta News First or First Alert Weather in your app or Google Play Store. It is free. Again, a quick, easy download as long as you have some sort of cell signal or on Wi-Fi, and you can customize it to your needs. If you want to be alerted to absolutely everything, you just constantly need to be in the know, you can have it that way. Or if you only want to be alerted by the serious weather situations, during the serious, severe weather situations, like during a tornado warning, you can customize it to that as well. You can be alerted to rain approaching your plans, be alerted to lightning getting closer to your activities, all in the First Alert Weather app. So even if we don't see any severe weather Tuesday, not at all a bad idea to keep an eye on the First Alert Weather app, especially for those afternoon and evening plans Tuesday. And then sharply colder Wednesday. In fact, we can kind of go into more detail here. Let's actually bring it back to Wednesday. That's on Thursday. We're going to talk about both mornings, though, here. Wednesday morning, well, in fact, we'll go forward in time here. Let's pause at 11 a.m., leading into the lunch hour, Wednesday morning. Temperatures in the 40s, maybe some 30s up in the mountains, but with the wind blowing, it is going to feel, and this is the reason why Wednesday is the First Alert Weather Day. Rain is gone by this point, but an impact of uncomfortability. We go from near 70 Tuesday afternoon to feeling like it's in the 20s and 30s going into the lunch hour Wednesday. And as cold air really settles in and a light breeze keeps blowing, wind chills back in the teens and 20s Thursday morning. And it's going to be a very chilly, cold, freezing, in fact, Thursday morning across metro Atlanta and really all of North Georgia. That's why we're seeing the rain. Another front is approaching. This one just happens to be moving slower and have a lot more moisture than the past few. That's why this one's bringing us a lot of rain before the cold air really arrives. Caleb, I hope you have a great weekend as well and a great work week. I hope that the Special Olympics on Tuesday at Stars and Stripes goes very well. May the odds be in your favor. Hopefully you pull out that gold, and wishing you the best, man. Caleb, thank you for tuning in and for watching. And also thank you everyone else for watching. Chatting with Caleb and Jason and Joshua and others on Atlanta News First YouTube account. That's one way that we can chat. I'm going to go back to make sure I didn't miss any text messages. If you want to sneak something in really quick here, 470-777-WANF-9263. I can always go back after the stream and answer your questions as well. I want to remind you that Joy Limnacron and I will be on Peachtree TV at 10 p.m. Atlanta CW, full hour of news, latest forecast then, and then starting just a little bit late tonight, Atlanta News First, WANF, should be about 11:11 or so, we're told. So we'll be on a little late, but you can stream us from the First Alert Weather app, Atlanta News First app, or at atlantanewsfirst.com. If you're sitting there scrolling through Instagram, trying to get to bed, you might as well get that latest check of the forecast as well. And it's easy to do so. And by that point, quite a bit of rain already back and moving into metro Atlanta. For the time being, it's dry. We can see Midtown from the other side of the connector there. 75-85, it's packed. But roads are dry in the city of Atlanta, but not for long. We're waking up to rain. We are waking up to wet roadways Monday. First Alert Weather Day. Another one Tuesday, more rain. And then a big old drop in temperature Wednesday. Final First Alert Weather Day for the week. Final day of the week that has impactful weather that could impact those plans. Again, full forecast, latest news headlines coming up tonight at 10.